Welcome to Roundabout Davis Cup in Toronto. We're here with Mary Pierce. Mary Pierce is the representative of the International Tennis Federation here at the TAI. Mary Pierce, welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
How are you enjoying the tennis? What's it like watching men's tennis as opposed to women's tennis?
Yeah, it's great. I'm very excited to be here. It's actually my first time as an ITF rep for a Davis Cup tie. I've done Fed Cup before, and I'm very excited. Obviously, it's always nice to come back to Canada, where I was born, special place in my heart, and to support the guys and the team, and also, you know, the Netherlands is also a great team and a great country, so I'm happy to be here and watching these matches.
I think your mother was involved working at the University of Montreal when you were born. Did she ever tell you any stories about your infant days here in this country?
I do, and my dad also told me some stories as well, you know, as a baby here, and where he used to be in old Montreal on the streets and making silver and turquoise jewelry. So I don't know if anybody ever bought a piece of silver and turquoise jewelry 42 or 3 years ago. But yeah, you know, he would tell me that I would be, you know, popped up around behind him on his shoulder and watching him making the jewelry in old Montreal on the streets. So yeah.
You won the Australian Open in 1995, the French Open in 2000. What does it do to an individual, to a professional tennis player, to be a Grand Slam champion?
Well, it totally changes your life, that's for sure. You become famous overnight, and then you have a lot of expectation and pressures to start winning everything and all the tournaments and your matches that you're playing. And people recognize you everywhere you go. So then it's very weird when people are starting to look at you and stare at you and talk about you, and you're kind of right there. It's a strange feeling. So in the beginning it was really difficult for me, and it took some time to adapt and also get used to the pressure and the expectations that were on me and the media attention. So I think it took me like a year or two actually to get used to that.
And so now they're a good size to that?
Well, I mean, of course, there's great size to it as well. You get treated not normally compared to how you were treated before in places that you go, and so you have special treatment in places that you go. But I think for me it was actually your dreams coming true in tennis, you know, and what you've worked so hard for as a child growing up, and then to see those dreams come true, and then also to be able to be, you know, an inspiration for other people and a model and example. I think for me, what was some of the things that really meant a lot to me, where it was girls would come up to me or women would come up to me and tell me, you know, how much I've inspired them, which would kind of surprise me in the beginning. I wouldn't expect that, but then you realize, yes, you do have a responsibility to play, and you can actually touch people and change their lives and be an inspiration for them.
When you look back, you were as high as #3 in the world. Do you ever have any regrets? Do you think you could have been #1 or won more Grand Slams?
You know, that's a great question, because I do remember people saying, you know, that I would be the next new #1. I had beaten many #1s in my career through the different decades that I played. And I felt that I had the ability and the game to do that on any given day. I just wasn't consistent enough throughout the whole year, week in and week out, to have those results. And I think that's, you know, being #1 is really tough. I had the game to be able to beat anybody, but I wasn't able to do it consistently enough to achieve that ranking. There was one period in my career where I did really well in 2005. From the French Open until the end of the year, I had lost only 4 matches. And the following year, 2006, if I would have continued to play that good for the first half of the year, it could have been very possible to reach #1. But in February, I tore a tendon in my foot, and I was out for 6 months, so I couldn't play at all, which was unfortunate. But you know, at the end of the day, I have no regrets, because I always gave 100%. I always did the best that I possibly could in the moment. You know, obviously you're not perfect and you make mistakes, but you learn from them. And when I think back to my career, honestly, I'm so amazed at what I actually did accomplish, and being able to win the French Open in singles was my dream in tennis, and that came true. So, you know, at the same time, yes, I would have loved to have done better, but also I think I just did so much better than I could have dreamed.
What's Mary Pierce up to these days?
So this year I decided to take some time off of traveling, and you know, hopefully travel less so that I could take care of some injuries that I had. Obviously we spoke about my knee and my back that I injured 3 years ago, and I was doing, you know, commentating and coaching, and I organized a circuit of ITF professional tennis tournaments for women, a circuit of $10,000 tournaments. Obviously on the board of directors of the ITF, on the board of the PTR, on different committees and commissions, also for the IOC. So a lot lot that I've been doing the last few years. So this year I was just doing the ITF stuff, the IOC stuff, and trying to take care of my body and my health, to get pain-free, to get fit again, so that I can do exercise and rehabilitation on a consistent basis, to hopefully next year start hitting the ball again for fun and working out and exercising again.
Well, I know you still have your Canadian passport, so we can welcome you home. And thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.